Some of you who take part in exam malpractice think it's all about passing the exams, but it is much more than that. And I'm going to break down the consequences, the short-term and long-term consequences of exam malpractice.
Inspira Central. Inspira Central. Inspira Central. Inspira Central.
Hello, fellow Inspirers. Welcome to Inspira Central. My name is Monica and I'm the Chief Inspirer herself. It's good to have you here. Thank you for joining me. Today I'll be talking about exam malpractice and its consequences. Exam malpractice is not as harmless as you imagine. Some of you who take part in exam malpractice think it's all about passing the exams, but it is much more than that. And I'm going to break down the consequences, the short-term and long-term consequences of exam malpractice. Exam malpractice is that thing, whatever it is that you do, where you do not write your exams by yourself or write them from the knowledge that you have acquired. The first thing that exam malpractice does to you as a student is that it stops you from building integrity. When you take part in exam malpractice, you'll be unable to build integrity. What is integrity? Integrity is moral soundness or honesty. It means that when you take part in exam malpractice, you stop being honest. You actually start building a track record of dishonesty. Dishonesty is a situation in which no one can trust you. In fact, your exam cannot be trusted. You pass off as being one thing, but you're actually something else. You show yourself as being competent, but you're actually incompetent. That is what lack of honesty and integrity is all about. When you take part in exam malpractice, you're not building true character, you're not building honesty, you're not building integrity. And not only are you not building integrity with other people, you're also not building integrity with yourself. You will not be able to trust yourself. I mean, come on, you didn't write those exams. You said that you did. Or you wrote the exams, but with somebody else's information that they were feeding you. You did not write it from your brain. You don't have the knowledge. You don't know what is in the exams. You just wrote, you copied something, or you had somebody impersonate you, or whatever it is you did. So you know for sure that there is no integrity. That paper that you wrote has no integrity, and neither do you. You're not honest. You are dishonest. Exam malpractice is one of the very foundations of dishonesty. You're practicing dishonesty and thinking it's all about an exam. It's not all about the exam. There is life beyond the exam, and you need to know that if you practice dishonesty in one area of life, you're going to practice it in other areas of life. That is how it begins. Whatever level you're at, whatever academic level you're at right now, you need to know that life goes beyond school. Life goes beyond wherever you are. And if you don't have a foundation of integrity and honesty, you will keep going down that slippery slope of dishonesty and lack of integrity. So this is one of the consequences of taking part in exam malpractice, and that is why I strongly recommend that you desist, you stop taking part in exam malpractice and start building integrity with yourself, with others, so that people can trust you and people can know that you're reliable. If not, nobody can rely on you because you say you are one thing, whereas you are not what you say you are. So build integrity with yourself, build honesty with yourself, start building trust with yourself today, and stop taking part in exam malpractice. The second consequence of taking part in exam malpractice is that you do not learn the information, you don't gain the knowledge. That's a fact. You don't know what's on the paper. Why? Because you didn't read. Because you don't know what the subject matter is about. You don't know what your lecturer is saying. You don't know what your teacher is saying. You don't know what the tutor is saying. You have no idea what they're saying. You skip classes. You don't read your notebooks. You don't read your textbooks. You don't even do anything that advances you academically. And so you don't gain the knowledge. And that is another reason why you take part in exam malpractice. You didn't do the background work. And so when you get to the exam, it just makes sense that you will be blank. It makes sense that you will not know what to write. It makes sense that you will not be able to put anything there. But what doesn't make sense is that instead of you to have prepared for the exam, you now decided to put measures in place that will help you cheat, that will help you score an A or a B on that test when you have not gained the knowledge. Do you not see that you're shortchanging yourself? The essence of going to school, the essence of education is for you to gain the knowledge. So now what you're doing is that you're not getting what you're going to school for. You're actually wasting your school fees. Yes, in a very practical way, that's what you're doing. Your mom and dad are paying these fees. You're not reading the books, you're not attending the classes, you're not getting the knowledge, and now you are taking part in exam malpractice, so it looks like you did the work you did not do. You haven't done the work. You don't have the knowledge. You don't have the information. You don't know anything about the topics and the subject matter. You don't know anything about that course. So you are wasting time, you are wasting money, you are wasting your youth, and you're wasting your opportunity. There are many people who want an education but cannot afford it. And here you are, able to afford an education, and you're not making the most of it. You are not building yourself. You are not developing yourself. You are not building capacity. You are not learning anything new. And you think you're being smart by impersonating, by getting someone to write for you, by bringing things into the hall, by paying someone to swap the exam sheet or whatever weird thing it is that you're doing. You are actually at the losing end. You're not gaining anything. You are just putting up a facade, and you're going to regret wasting your time on exam malpractice when you could have spent your time getting the information, learning the topics, learning the subjects, and becoming better informed. It is better for you to take advantage of this opportunity that you have to gain an education, to learn something, to acquire knowledge. Getting knowledge is fun, you know. I don't know why you don't see it that way. Why don't you see it that way? Could you tell me in the comment section? Why don't you see it that way? Maybe if you tell me in the comment section, I could prefer ways in which you can make learning fun. Tell me what your challenge is. Tell me why you would rather toe the line of exam malpractice instead of studying hard, having fun, learning something new, and improving yourself. I really am curious. I'm not being judgmental now to say tell me. I'm being very curious and very honest because I would like to help. That is part of the reason why Inspira Central is here, to help you as a young adult, to help you so that you utilize your opportunities well. So tell me in the comment section. And if you don't want to put it in the comment there, if you want to tell me privately, send me an email at inspiracentral@gmail.com. I'll send you a reply as soon as I can. Send me an email and let's have that private conversation. Let me know what your challenges are and I could prefer a solution. So exam malpractice is not what you should be doing. Instead, spend your time reading your books and acquire the knowledge, because if not, you would go through that academic year, you will go through that school, you may even get to a higher level and go through the whole school system, but you would not have acquired any knowledge, and that would be a waste of your money and your time. So spend your time reading the books. It is much better than taking part in exam malpractice. The third consequence of taking part in exam malpractice is that you do not acquire skills. You don't have any skills because first of all, you're not learning the theory aspect. What more doing the practical? The theory usually is the foundation for the practical. And so if you're not learning the theory, obviously you're not interested in the practical aspect of whatever that subject is. You're not learning skills. This is a time for acquiring skills. This is a time that you need to build your skill set so that when you go out there into the labor market, when you're out of school, you can have something to fall back on, something to build a life on. Speaking of building a life after school, I have a video here on life after graduation. I'm going to put a link to that video in the description of this video so you can go and watch it and find out how you can start developing yourself after you graduate from school. So back to what I was saying. Not having skills will put you at a disadvantage. You may seem like it's okay now. It may seem like everything is honky-dory. It may seem like everybody doesn't have skills, so we are all on the same level playing field. But over time, your not having skills will become a big deficiency. It will become a big minus for you. It's going to put you at a disadvantage. So start building the skills now. And that starts in school. That starts with knowing what the books say and then practicalizing it. Doing the practical aspects in addition to the theory will give you the advantage that you need. Always think long term. Stop thinking to yourself that it doesn't matter. It may not matter now, but it will matter in the future. And you want to live a life where you can accomplish all your goals. You want to live a life where you are at an advantage and not at a disadvantage. Give yourself that advantage now by acquiring skills. Start learning, start practicing, make this a priority. Stop pretending to be all that and more by taking part in exam malpractice. It's a waste of your time. Exam malpractice is one of the biggest self-deceits I have ever seen. Exam malpractice is self-deceit. I said it, I meant it, and I'm standing on that. It's you deceiving yourself, thinking that you can just go scot-free. Now that brings me to my fourth point. The fourth consequence of exam malpractice is that it prevents you from learning the process of action and reward. You just think that you can do anything and go scot-free. You just think that it doesn't matter what you do, you will always get what you want. Life does not work that way. That is unrealistic. It cannot work in the long term. Once you step out of this environment, you will discover that life is not as easy as you think. There are some things that you do and you think you short-circuit the process. You think you have got away scot-free, but it's never like that. These things that you're doing now, this exam malpractice you're taking part in, is going to play a huge role in your life. You may not see it now, but it's going to show itself down the line. You will not understand that there is action and there is a reaction. You will not understand that when you take an action, there are consequences. There are rewards for your action. You may not understand it now. You will think you're going scot-free. You will think that even if you don't do the work, you will still get what you want. After all, now you have all A's. Now your result is full of flying colors. Even though you know within yourself, you don't have the skills, you don't have the knowledge, you don't have the experience, it doesn't matter. All you need to do is go and do what you need to do. Put things in place. Get someone to write for you. Pay someone to fabricate results for you. Do those funny things. It doesn't matter. It does matter. Don't kid yourself. Even if you kid yourself, I'm here to wake you up. I am here as the chief inspirer herself to wake you up. It matters. It matters because it's not everything you can do in life and say you get whatever you want. Life does not work like that. That is you kidding yourself. That is unrealistic. That is not going to happen in the outside world. It may work for you now in school, but life is bigger than school. Life is much bigger than school. And if you're not careful, this is the time when you're learning, you're building yourself to believe that you can take whatever action and there are no consequences, or you will get whatever you want, whether you put in the work or not. You're going to go out to the real world and see that if you don't put in the work, you will not get the results that you want. You cannot keep buying your way through everything. You cannot buy your way through every situation. Sometimes you have to do the grueling work. Sometimes you have to tough it out. Sometimes you have to put in the effort. Sometimes you have to be determined and dogged, and you have to sweat. You're not sweating now. You're not doing the little things you can do to build yourself and your capacity, and you think you are going scot-free. All you will see when you get out there into the real world is that you have shortchanged yourself and you have not built yourself. You will find out that you're unable, incapable, you are very inept, you are very unable to do anything. Nobody will be able to trust you with anything because you cannot do anything. And of course, you cannot buy your way through everything. For instance, somebody employs you and says, I hear you're a very good computer scientist. I hear you're good at coding. I saw your results. And then you're like, yes, I am. I made the first class. I made a second class upper, and they're amazed. Then they tell you to come and code, and you get to the computer and you're like, you're blank, you're staring, now you're blinking, now you're moving the mouse, now you're not sure what to do. And they give you 15 minutes to come back and see what you've done. And they come there and see that the screen is blank. The same way they left it, that's how they found this when they came back. And you're there feeling incompetent. You should feel incompetent because that's what you are. You're not just feeling it. They're now looking at you like, who is this one? Oh, I see. Well, you're one of those. Okay. You're one of those. Your result says one thing, but you're some other thing. You can't even defend your results. I see. Do you expect that in such a situation you're going to bribe your way through? Do you expect that? Do you expect that you're going to impersonate your way through a job? They might as well give the other person the job because obviously you're not the man for the job. You're not the woman for the job. You don't know what it takes. You don't have the skills. You don't even know what you're doing. And yet your certificate says that you know what you're doing. You don't know anything. You don't know jack. Of course they will not hire you. They will not hire you because who wants to hire a liability? That is what you become to them. And so in order to save themselves that problem, they will tell you, thank you for coming. We'll get back to you. As soon as you shut that door, they're like, we are never getting back to you because why would we get back to you? Why? Give me a reason. You couldn't even do anything. You couldn't even put a line of code. What's that? You couldn't. And you're expecting us to call you back. That would be a waste of our time. We will not do that. Do you see that there are some places, in fact, more places than you can ever imagine in life, where you cannot bribe your way through, you cannot impersonate your way through, you can't tell somebody to feed you the answers. How can someone feed you the answers in real life? This is not the exam hall anyway. That is done, that is now history, and you now have a certificate that is telling lies. You have a certificate that is deceiving people. But nobody needs your certificate long term. The certificate is just an entry. But your attitude, your capability, your skills are what they are hiring you for. They're not hiring you for your certificate. And so when you get there, you cannot do what your certificate says you can do. Of course, they will kick you out. You need to understand these things. I know all your friends are doing it and it looks like it's the in thing, it's the right thing to do. I'm telling you, it's the wrong thing to do. It's the wrong thing. It's the wrong thing now. It's the wrong thing tomorrow. It's the wrong thing forever. It's always wrong. Nothing good comes out of exam malpractice. You see that thrill, that joy that you get when you're getting all A's that you did not earn. It's going to be short-lived. It's not sustainable. When you look back on your academic life, you will not feel good about yourself. I promise you. If you take part in exam malpractice, especially if you do it all the way through your school years, if you take part in exam malpractice, you will never be able to look back on your school days and say, I got all I went there to get. I did it. You will never. A part of you will always feel that shame. I promise you. When you're older, that's one thing you look back on and regret. I promise you. There are actions and there are consequences. You may be getting away with exam malpractice today, but in the real world, you will not be able to get away from the consequences of exam malpractice. So stop taking part in exam malpractice today. For your long-term future and for your capability building. Build capacity today. Start developing yourself. Start building yourself. And you will find out that you will be thankful in the future that you did it now and that you took the pains and took the time to build yourself. Exam malpractice is the greatest self-deceit. Now, I know I've been going on and on about the consequences of exam malpractice for you as a student. But if you're a parent watching this and you're encouraging exam malpractice, I also want to talk to you. I want to tell you what you're doing to your child. Because you may not realize what you're doing to your child. You may not realize that you're ruining the child's future. You may think you're helping your child scale through, but you're actually doing a lot of harm to your child. Let me now tell you in this second part of the video the consequences of encouraging your child to take part in exam malpractice. First and foremost, you are shortchanging your child. You ought to train your child now that your child is young and able to grasp a lot of information and learn different things. You know, for instance, children are able to learn languages better when they are younger compared to when people are older. When people are older, they may not be able to assimilate more. So this is the best time to harness the potentials of your child. This is the best time to build your child and put resources and knowledge and information into your child. But when you decide that you want to help your child scale through, you are shortchanging that child. You are making the child miss out on opportunities for growth. Not just growth for now, but growth for the future. You are not thinking ahead. You are thinking that it's all about the exams and you're shortchanging your child. Another thing that you're doing is that you're wasting your money. You're paying the school fees, aren't you? Of course you're paying the school fees. And then you're paying an extra fee to someone on the side to either impersonate your child, write exams for your child, feed your child the information, feed your child the answers, or do something weird for your child. You're wasting your money. You're paying extra for something that is not only unnecessary but is actually ruining your child's future. This is a time for building the capacity of your child so that your child has sustainable growth, sustainable development, and becomes the very best that he or she can be. But you seem more interested in making your child look intelligent instead of actually being intelligent. You seem more interested on making your child look like he or she knows the answers instead of actually learning and knowing the answers to the questions. Would you rather be more interested in the facade or the reality? If you love your child enough, if you care about your child's future, if you want the very best for your child, you should care about the substance, because what you are chasing is the shadow. You're chasing shadows instead of building your child's capacity. When you encourage your child to take part in exam malpractice, when you encourage your child to cheat on exams, you are shortchanging that child. You're not thinking of your child's future. In fact, possibly you're thinking of your own ego and how you will look out there. But life should not be about looks and what people think about you or your child. Instead, it should be about training your child, developing your child, ensuring that your child becomes all that he or she could ever be. The very best of the very best is what you should give your child. An exam malpractice is definitely not the best for your child. You are ruining your child by yourself. It may seem harsh to hear. It may seem like something you don't want to hear, but let me say it to you because you need to hear it. This is about your child's future. It's not about your ego. It's not about how you feel or how you look. It's about your child's tomorrow. Are you thinking of your child's future? Or are you just thinking of yourself and how you look, how you feel, how you want people to see you? Think of your child. Put your child first. Let your child be numero uno in your life. Let your child's welfare, your child's growth, your child's capacity and development come first in your mind. Keep your ego aside. The ego doesn't matter. How does your child feel? How will your child fare? Can your child stand on his own 2 feet when the chips are down? Can your child develop himself and become his very best when the time comes? Can your child actually become somebody that can change the world for good? It's in your hands. You are the one leading the child. You're the one directing the child. You're the one grooming the child. And so you should lead your child aright. Lead your child aright and let that child not take part in exam malpractice, because you and that child will regret it in the future. You and your child will regret his or her taking part in exam malpractice in the future. Not a threat, just the honest truth. The second consequence that you will have to face as a parent who encourages his or her child to take part in exam malpractice is that you're depriving yourself of a child who is dependable. Do you know that those exams, Do you know that the things that come with getting an education and writing exams from your head using your smarts actually develop your child? They develop your child's capacity. They don't just give theoretical knowledge, they also give practical skills. Now, imagine that you're depriving your child of all this and you get older. Now you're 60 or you're 70 and that child is all that you've got. That child is your support system. That child is the one who helps you. Now, this child has no knowledge. This child has been playing truancy from one school to the other. This child has certificates but no skills. How can you fall back on that when the chips are down? When you're no longer able to support yourself, how can your child earn a living and help you? How can your child help you around the house? How can this person be of use to you when he or she is older? You are building somebody who would not be able to do anything for themselves. You are building somebody who would rely on the smarts of others to move on in life. You are building somebody who has not developed or harnessed their own smarts, their own capabilities, their own skills. How can you trust that person when the chips are down? How can you depend on that person when the chips are down? You are simply building a minus for yourself. You're getting yourself a minus. You're getting yourself somebody you cannot depend on, somebody you cannot trust, somebody who does not have any depth. You are building a shallow person without substance. When you make your child take part in exam malpractice, you are building a shallow person without substance. And when you're older, I tell you, you're going to wish that you did not do that because this child has no real substance. There is growth. The child has grown, but there is no development. There is no mental stimulation. There is no mental capacity. There is no mental growth. There are no skills. The hands can't do anything because they have not been taught. Why were they not taught? Because you felt that it was better for this child to just acquire the certificate instead of really learning something. Instead of acquiring knowledge and information, you would rather go and buy the certificate and make the child look knowledgeable instead of actually being knowledgeable. When you're older, you're going to wish you did not give your child the opportunity and the resources to take part in exam malpractice. The third consequence of involving your child in exam malpractice is that you are depriving the world of professionals in the future. You know, everything we do is not just about us. Your child is a member of society. Your child is one person in the population of the world, and that means that your child ought to contribute to society. But what you're doing when you tell your child, don't worry, I'll pay for the exams, don't worry, I'll get someone to sit in for you, don't bother, go to sleep, don't read your books, I'll get somebody to impersonate you, is that you are depriving the world of an expert. Your child could have become an expert in any field, in any profession. But now you have the certificates, the child doesn't have the skill. Imagine that your child is a doctor tomorrow. Would you ask your child to treat you of any ailment, even a headache? Would you? I'm sure you wouldn't, because you know firsthand that your child is not a doctor. You know that even though your child has the certification, your child knows nothing about medicine. And so even if you have a slight headache, you will not ask your child to administer medicine. You would not tell your child to treat you. You won't try it because you'll be scared for your life. You know that this is a quack. You know that this is a make-believe doctor. You will not try it. You will not put your life in your child's hands. In the same way, you are depriving the society of an expert. You are depriving the society of someone who knows what they are doing, who they can trust, who they can say, yes, this person has got it, this person will fix it, this person will take care of it, and everything will be okay. You know, now that I think about it, I'm just wondering, how can you have a healthy child with a brain who can learn, who can accumulate knowledge, who can become something great, and you decide that instead of letting this child tap into their potentials, you would rather short-circuit the process, buy them a certificate, and leave them without skills and knowledge? That's not love as a parent, you know. That's not how to love your child. I just feel really bad, because there are so many consequences of exam malpractice. And you think that you are doing your child a favor. You think you're showing your child love, but you're actually not. You are making your child incapable. You are making sure that your child's skills, innate talents, and abilities are untapped. You are letting that child waste years in school without learning anything. You are making that child miss out on the best opportunities that they could ever get. And you're actually depriving them of future opportunities. Because trust me, nobody will employ that child. How much does the child know? Who wants to employ a liability? Your child will become a liability to you, will become a liability to society, and that is a waste of a lifetime. That is a waste of opportunities. That is a waste of time. So it's better to give this child the opportunity. Let this child grow. Yes, the child could make mistakes. There could be areas where this child does not know certain things. Maybe the child is not good at maths. Maybe the child is not good at science. Find a place where this child fits in and let this child excel. For those subjects that the child needs to do but he or she is not good at, get them a lesson teacher, get them a tutor, get them someone who can help them improve their scores, and let them go out there, take the exams with their own smarts and tough it out. Stop depriving yourself and the world of somebody who could have been a genius. Stop depriving yourself and the world and your child of opportunities for your child to be the best. Let your child be the best. Not just the best in fabricating certificates, not the best in copying answers of others, not the best in impersonating, but the best in their academics as best as they can, with their own smarts, with their own capabilities. Harness your child's skills. Hone your child's innate talents and stop the exam malpractice, because you're going to regret it. Stop the exam malpractice now, because you are building a child who is not capable of doing anything for themselves. And long term, in the future, when you are older, you are going to regret taking your child down the path of exam malpractice. When you're older, you would wish that you had trained your child well so that you could trust them, rely on them, and have them there for you when you need them. I have more tips that I have written in a blog post. The link to that blog post will be down below. Go check out the blog post and read more on the consequences of exam malpractice. Whether you are a student or you are a parent, read more about the consequences of exam malpractice in the blog post below. And when I say parents, I want to point out, you could be a teacher, you could be whatever it is, but if you're in the capacity of illocus parentis, that is like a parent, whether you're the actual parent, you are a guardian, you are a teacher, as long as you're someone older, then I would also call you a parent in this context, and you need to read that blog post. The link to the blog post will be down in the description of this video. Go and read it and learn more about the consequences of exam malpractice so that you desist from it and you encourage your child or your ward to start reading their books and start acquiring knowledge instead of taking part in exam malpractice. If you've enjoyed watching this video, please drop a comment below. Also, if you'd like to see more of such videos that build you, improve you, and help you with self-development, please subscribe to this channel. Simply click the subscribe button and get subscribed to this channel today. It is completely free of charge. You don't have to pay anything to subscribe to this channel, so click that subscribe button. Also, do not forget to click the notification button so you'll be notified as soon as I update. Please like this video, give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed watching it. Also, do not forget to share this video with everyone. Exam malpractice is a malady that affects all of us. It does not just affect the students, it affects the parents and it affects society. Let's stop exam malpractice. Share this video so people can know that there are dire consequences of exam malpractice. Thank you very much for watching this video to the very end. I have a playlist in the description of this video. Go watch the videos in that playlist and keep developing yourself and growing yourself for a better future. Don't forget to be an inspiration. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now. Please subscribe, click the notification button, like this channel, share our videos, and follow us on social media. Thank you very much.
Pyra Central. Inspira Central.